A boy is approached by a man who tells him about a magic book that can only be found in a magic library. Boy is given a ticket to the library, but he can only enter the library when certain conditions are met. After receiving a text from the shepherd, Kakei gets a sudden intuition that a girl he saw handing out posters is in danger and runs back to pull her out of the way. Kakei and the girl, Tsugumi Shirasaki, are in the same class. Later, Kakei is sought out by Tamamo Sakubara, a friend of Tsugumi. Tamamo confronts him about the molesting incident and chases after him. Eventually, the misunderstanding is resolved when Tsugumi blurts out, directed by Ike Takamine, friend of Kakei, that she was not unwilling. Kakei brings Tsugumi, Tamamo, and Ike to the library club. Tsugumi asks him to join her project, Shimoi Happy Project. Although the student council president, Maho Mochizuki, objects, he agrees to join until Golden Week along with Ike, and Tamamo, who is already a member. The four members get a mysterious congratulatory text from the shepherd just before getting yelled at by a library girl for being noisy. The episode ends with the library girl and a man from the first scene on a rooftop, revealing that Kyoutarou is a candidate for being the next shepherd. A girl with a tuning fork is shown singing on the bridge while reminiscing her past. At the library, Kyoutarou feels hesitant to give away his peaceful room and time to others. Later, the club members pick up the trash around the school area to make their name known. Suzuki Kana from the school cafeteria, Apollio, agrees to take part in the activity. Kyoutarou helps the girl, previously seen on the bridge, Senri Misono, to get a 500 yen coin stuck under the vending machine. While leaving, she drops her tuning fork only to be later found by Kyoutarou. It is also revealed that the encounter of Suzuki and Senri was all planned by Shepherd's candidate girl. Tsugumi and Kyoutarou decide to return the lost item to Senri. When going home, Kyoutarou meets Suzuki and helps her pick a new phone. Next day, when Suzuki decides to join the club, all the club members get another mail from the shepherd stating that Senri Misono will teach them something important. Library Club decides to split up to investigate the sender of the emails, with the help from Urashino from Aplio School Cafeteria, who is good at computers, and meet Senri at the same time. Urashino agrees to investigate the emails, but in return, Kyoutarou must pass out the flyers for Aplio's spring fair wedding costumes. Club members couldn't talk about the emails with Senri due to the tense atmosphere around her. In the library room, when Tsugumi and Kyoutarou take off his shirt to take his measurements for his costumes, the library girl suddenly walks in and gets the wrong idea about them. The library girl introduces herself as Nagi Kodachi, and has been living next door to Kyoutarou all this time. Tsugumi makes pillows for everyone with analogical animal figures embroidered on them. Senri gets a fever by being in the rain. She sends an email to Tsugumi to help her, which Tsugumi quickly reacts and goes to her room with others. Tsugumi and Tamamo decide to stay at Senri, while the others return. Kyoutarou has a dream reminiscing about his past, where someone asks him not to leave. Kyoutarou clears up the misunderstanding about the incident at the library room with Nagi. Later, they find that Senri has also received mail from the shepherd. They get the address of the sender of the mails from Urashino. But when they visit the place, to their surprise, the place is completely deserted. A scene shows one of Kyotarou's childhood birthday parties, which he wasn't interested in anyway. In school, Urashino has all club members pass out the flyers in costumes. Kyoutarou, however, has to wear a maid's outfit instead of a butler's. Suzuki expresses her contentment for being in the club while she puts makeup on Kyoutarou. Senri visits the cafeteria to thank Tsugumi for taking care of her while she was sick, but she ends up getting angry when Tsugumi calls her Song Princess. Kyoutarou later clears up the misunderstanding and Senri joins in to pass out the flyers. Senri later joins the club. Tsugumi gives her a pillow as well that has a cat and a musical note embroidered in it, taking into consideration her fondness for cats and music. Tsugumi reveals to Kyoutarou that she has a bedridden sister in a hospital, and to whom Tsugumi lied about having many friends and enrolled in club activities. She wants to make all those lies true by the time her sister returns. Next day, everyone celebrates Kyotarou's birthday, which he feels the very first one anyone had ever celebrated for him from heart. So he decides to stay in the Happy Project even after the Golden Week. Later at night, Kyoutarou sends a text to the shepherd asking him to meet him. He immediately gets a reply which says Kyoutarou already knows him. Club members head to the ramen shop after cleaning the pool, where they discuss their rising popularity in school along with more work requests. Hearing about more work brings Ike to dismay. But Tamamo is more energetic than ever. People gathering in the library room creates problems for the club, and is asked by the head library worker to move the club room to somewhere else. Decision is kept on hold after club members agree to clean up the grass around the school, and Tamamo brings out a planned administrative solution for activities. Kyoutarou and Ike realize Tamamo is working too hard by herself for the club, so Kyoutarou approaches her and asks her to relax a bit more. Nagi meets the man who informs her of Kyoutarou passing the preliminary exam for being the shepherd, and warns her not to use unnecessary emails, to which Nagi detests and shows her desire to become the next shepherd. Nagi visits Kyoutarou to check whether he has really passed the exam, to which she confirms to be true when she has a vision of an invisible wall. Upon asking about the shepherd, Kyoutarou suspects that the former has an ability to erase somebody's memory. Nagi keeps giving false hints about her and Kyotarou's relationship to other girls. In the evening, when Tamamo calls Kyoutarou to talk about the next week's schedule, someone hears Nagi's voice on the phone and room next door at the same time. He finds it weird and barges into Nagi's room, only to find that Nagi is the shepherd, and he's about to be taken into the magic library by the strange man from the previous scenes. The strange man reveals himself as Nagi Kodachi's supervisor, Nanai, a shepherd number 771. Kyoutarou is then taken to the magic library, where he finds infinite number of books in which everything about everyone in the world is written. But at his point right now, he's only able to read his own book. It is revealed that he has the power to fly to the magic library, which led him to having premonitions of the future, but only those that involve him, since he can only read one book. Nanai invites Kyoutarou to become shepherd trainee, to which Kyoutarou asks some time to think about. Nagi resents the idea of Kyoutarou becoming a shepherd, as she wants to become one herself. In school, as per request, Kyoutarou and Senri have to find a lost lizard, where Senri gets scolded by Miyu Setaziwa for skipping her special singing lessons. Senri runs off and asks Kyoutarou to go somewhere fun together. Nagi intervenes and takes away Kyoutarou, again giving suggestive false hints. From a magical book, Kyoutarou finds that Urashino is about to get a serious injury on her left hand. Nagi tries to prevent the incident by following instructions written in the book. Kyoutarou has a vision that the incident is still not prevented before Nagi realizes that she messed up something. Kyoutarou quickly acts and puts up a stupid act. Startled, Urashino stops walking. After a second or two, freezer storage shuts hard, thus preventing the accident. Kyoutarou asks Nagi to be more careful next time, to which Nagi agrees to comply. On the way to the club room, Kyoutarou thinks the loneliness and isolation in his childhood was so that he could become a neutral shepherd in the future. In the club room, Tsugumi tries to confess her feelings for Kyoutarou but fails. Later, Nagi tells members that their happy project activities have been recognized by the general library. A member, Takigawa, seems to be plotting something against the library club. In the classroom, there's a discussion on Kyotarou's preference on girls where everyone makes suggestions of themselves. When they can't conclude anything, Tsugumi asks Kyoutarou to go on a date with everyone. But on the day of the date, Kyoutarou wakes up late and all the girls end up in his house. Nagi finds out about the plans and joins in. Everyone helps Tamamo choose her dress. Tamamo seems to have everything scheduled but forgot to make a reservation in the restaurant. Kyoutarou covers for her and suggests going to another store. Nagi and Senri play a game where Senri ends up twisting her leg. While getting alone time with Kyoutarou, Senri teases him a bit. In a bookstore, Kyoutarou and Suzuki have a conversation about the books they like. Later, Nagi predicts a future of a man encountering Tsugumi and falling for her. After getting rejected, he would be making love dolls, name them after Tsugumi, and make them known to the world. To prevent such an embarrassing future, Kyoutarou acts as Tsugumi's lover right in front of that man. Everyone demands an explanation for Kyotarou's actions. Nagi defends Kyoutarou by asking if they were hiding something from Kyoutarou instead. They show him an anonymous message that asks about Kyotarou's preference on girls. While discussing about the message, Kyoutarou realizes other members keep forgetting about the shepherd. Kyoutarou confronts Nagi on this matter and knows that if he were to become a shepherd, everyone's memories of him would disappear as well. He also hears about Nagi's resolve to give up everything to become a shepherd and guide the world to a better place. But when Kyoutarou reminds her that he will also forget her, she gets emotional. Kyoutarou is helping Suzuki in writing a script for a beach event, which she doubts it will go well. The plot is about the queen's new clothes, where the queen and others are fooled into wearing invisible clothes that can only be seen by the wise. The show is ruined when Kyoutarou accidentally pulls off Tamamo's bra. Later, Kyoutarou and Senri console Suzuki and tells her that she did well. Unofficial clubs also want to present their performance in upcoming Shiori Festival, but Vice President of Student Council, Takigawa, declines by showing security issues in increasing the number of stages. Suzuki starts acting strangely. Kyoutarou and Tsugumi tries to ask her about it, but fail. Suzuki is not coming to the club anymore. Tsugumi asks Suzuki on writing another script for the event to make her happy. Tamamo tells Kyoutarou about a strange email from the shepherd that says the shepherd had decided to eliminate the library club. Nagi denies to have sent that image. Kyoutarou goes to meet Suzuki on Nagi's suggestion. Suzuki tells him about how her friend and her group betrayed her before meeting Kyoutarou, and is scared that things will end up the same. But Kyoutarou tells her to be herself, and still accepts her as she is. Later, Senri's music teacher asks to leave the library club immediately and attend her music lessons. Senri refuses to attend extra lessons up front. Tamamo speaks in support of the teacher, which makes Senri sad and leaves the room. Kyoutarou tries to follow her, but Nagi stops him, telling him it's the shepherd's job from this time forward since she might quit singing forever. But Kyoutarou refuses to leave things as they are. Senri tells him about her past when she didn't give her best in a singing competition for her friend to win. But she still won and got nicknamed Song Princess. This made her friend angry and left her. Kyoutarou suggests she stop singing if it's too painful for her. Everyone is worried about this, but Kyoutarou asks them to leave the matter to him. Takigawa is so obsessed with Mochizuki that she has been taking pictures of her secretly. Tsugumi, with the help of her sister, suggests a name, Minafest, for the event conducted by Library Club, to which everyone agrees upon. Suzuki comforts Senri, telling her doing what she wants is right. Tamamo, on the other hand, wants to support Senri in becoming a singer, as Tamamo could not become an artist herself due to her parents' disapproval. Tamamo gets another mail from the shepherd telling them to stop their activities. When Miyu Serizawa, Senri's childhood friend, asks Kyoutarou about Senri quitting singing, Kyoutarou confirms it and asks Miyu to think what would happen to Senri next by herself. Nagi tries to get Kyoutarou to do something about the current situation with Senri, but Kyoutarou refuses to make hasty decisions and asks to observe her longer. Nanai appears out of nowhere and tells Kyoutarou that he has passed his second exam and can start becoming shepherd whenever he wants. Nanai takes him to the magic library where he finds Nagi's book, which is currently sealed. If Nagi fails to become a shepherd, the book will be unsealed and she will have to return to her normal life. After reading the book, Kyoutarou remembers Nagi to be his younger sister. Nagi moves into Kyotarou's room, giving being siblings as an excuse. Kyoutarou remembers his past when his father had many wives, and Nagi was introduced to him as his half-sister. Nagi was always alone and neglected by everyone. The house servants found out about this and tried to abuse her, but Kyoutarou stopped them. Suzuki stays overnight at Senri's to watch movies. Later, it is revealed that Tsugumi had lied to her sister, Sayori, about Kyoutarou being her boyfriend, but Sayori had known about everything from the very beginning. In order to thank Kyoutarou for visiting her sister, Tsugumi offers to cook dinner for him, which puts him in a tight spot, as he doesn't want Tsugumi to learn about Nagi living with him. Kyoutarou has a hard time hiding Nagi's stuff scattered around his room. Later, Tsugumi and Sayori visit Kyoutarou and find Nagi in the room. Sayori can't calm down when Tsugumi accepts this quietly. Sayori gets a heart stroke and Nagi has to use her magic to get her to a hospital. Kyoutarou explains that he and Nagi are the shepherd trainees and will soon be forgotten by everyone. Tsugumi confesses her feelings and asks Kyoutarou not to leave. The next day, the library club is taken over by previous senior club members who ask Kyoutarou and other members to leave. Kyoutarou and his friends are forced to leave the club room. They find out that Takigawa was behind it, and she did it under the influence of the shepherd, but they refuse to give in just because their club room was taken and get determined to make Minafest a success. The school council announces it's time for a symposium, which matches that of Minafest. Many famous celebrities are going to be attending this symposium. This makes students return their tickets for Minafest. Kyoutarou has a vision of Tsugumi dying in Minafest and decides to become the shepherd to save her. Nanai burns Kyotarou's book from the magic library, making him slowly disappear from others' memories. Tsugumi rushes to Kyotarou's place when she can't remember her conversations with Kyoutarou. Kyoutarou admits it was because he had become a shepherd. Tsugumi tells him that she would hate Kyoutarou becoming a shepherd, but Kyoutarou refuses to change his decision. Everyone receives a message that Kyoutarou has joined student council to make Minafest an official school event. so they try to stop him. Kyoutarou explains this to be fake. Senri decides to sing in Minafest and Nagi makes the news go viral. On the request of Nagi, Miyu also accepts to become MC for Minafest. Kyoutarou, on the other hand, can't seem to find a way to save Tsugumi from the accident. A huge crowd gathers at Minafest. Applio staff and Happy Project members are determined to give their best. The performance in Minafest begins and the audience seems to like them well. When it was time to perform a drama, Tsugumi goes to find Kyoutarou. Kyoutarou and Nagi catch Takigawa, messing with screws of hanging lights. When Tsugumi reaches at the scene, the lights fall. Seeing no other options, Kyoutarou uses his shepherd magic to transport the lights along with Takigawa, Nagi, and himself to Symposium, where Takigawa unknowingly confesses before Mochizuki, and everyone in there. Since it is against the shepherd's rule to expose their power to normal people, Kyoutarou now can't become a shepherd. But since his book is already erased, he can't have a normal life either, and will be forgotten by all. Kyoutarou is missing in Minafest and everyone searches for him. Tsugumi gives a speech where she tells they can accomplish many things if everyone lends their hand to each other, and with wordplay, asks to be with Kyoutarou. On Tsugumi's request, Kyoutarou decides to stay with the group. Nanai brings back Kyotarou's book. Takigawa returns to the club room and apologizes to everyone. In the hospital, Sayori shows desire to become a shepherd, while a man observes her from behind. Nagi is made the shepherd in charge of Shiomi Academy and is going to be living with Kyoutarou. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you in the next one.